Good morning. Thank you for joining us this week for How Do I with Quality Sewing and Vacuum. I am Lynette, and today we are going to do How Do I Make an Infinity Scarf. So when you make an infinity scarf, you're going to want to start with about 2 yards of fabric. When choosing your fabric, the weight doesn't matter as much as the drape or the feel. So if we take this fabric, you can see how it folds into itself. So that is going to be a really good scarf fabric. However, if we take this fabric, see how it stays boxy? That is going to not drape very nice like this one does. It's going to actually be really more like a lion mane. So once you have chosen your fabric, and I have this one here, you are going to want to cut it into 12 to 14 inches wide and 72 inches long. Then we will go through, and first thing you want to do is go ahead and add a couple pins so that when you're stitching it doesn't shift on you. So I have some Wonder Clips, and I'm going to just go every 12 to 18 inches and put a little clip in there so I know when to stop and adjust. If you prefer pins, pins of course work just as well, but you don't poke yourself with Wonder Clips, so I do like them. All right. So now we're ready to go to the machine. For this, I do like to use about 1/4 of an inch. So I'm gonna do a little back stitch and then go so my stitches are locked in place. And we are gonna go ahead and just stitch down this. Whether you use clips or pins, when you get to them, of course, you want to stop, remove it. I like to make sure that my next section is lined up, and then I can just go. And there's my another clip. So we'll stop, adjust, and continue. Almost there. All right, last little section. When I get to the end, I will do another little backpack. Cut my thread. All right, so at this point, you have a big tube. All right. From here, I'm going to stick my hand in there, and I like to run my thumb up the seam to give it a little bit of a stress so that when I flip it right side out, it's not puckered. When doing this, the most important part is make sure that you don't accidentally twist your fabric. Once you're at the other end, you're going to grab and pull it through to match the other end. Okay, so now we're going to match our seams and make sure everybody is flat. Okay, so here's where the magic happens. We're going to take this seam and we're going to take the center of the outer piece. We're going to do a little half twist and match those 2 points. And then even it out again. And I am going to go ahead and put a couple little clips here so that everybody is straight. All right, so I'm going to take off my accessory tray. So I have my free arm, as that makes it the easiest to sew a tube. We're going to slip that guy on my free arm. So when you're stitching it up, at this point, I like to start a little bit before my seam. And we'll take a couple stitches, back stitch, and continue. Using the same about 1/4 inch seam allowance as you did on the long edge. Adjust as you go so that your tube doesn't twist or catch on you. When you get back around, you're going to stop about 1 inch or so and back tuck so you have a little opening. We'll take this guy off. From here, we're going to just reach inside, grab a piece of the inside, and pull it through. If you have a thicker fabric, you'll want to leave a little bit thicker opening. You can do this with wovens or knits, as long as it has that drape capability. So I am on the Baby Lock Presto 2. It is a great machine. One thing I do like about it is if you look at the base plate, you can see that the edge of my foot, when my needle's in the center position, the edge of the foot gives me my 1/4 inch mark on my plate. So it's a little hard to see on camera, but there's markings on my clear plate here. And so it's really nice to do that quick edging or quick seaming without having to set anything up. All right, so once you get your tube all turned right side out, you're going to have your little opening. You can either hand stitch, which I am not a huge fan of hand stitching, so I normally do not do that option. Or we can go back to our machine, slip that opening in here, move my clip, and I'm going to do just a little stitch right along the edge. So about 1/8 of an inch or so. Go ahead and do a little back tuck. We're going to trim that. And my infinity scarf is done. So we will put it on, wrap it around, and then you can fluff as you would like. So thank you for joining me today on how do I make an infinity scarf. For more tips, tricks, and projects, visit qualitysewing.com.